Hello fellow Silver Saints, I hope you're all doing well. My name is Ashley and this is the Library of a Silver Saint where we talk all things books. I hope you're all having a lovely day so far. Ernie isn't, he's back there and he is whining and moaning and whinging today for the same reason as always. He's not had his breakfast yet. I get it, but also I'm not the problem here. He's definitely the problem here. Shh. Anyway. How are you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. Oh my gosh, it's actually quite chilly today, so I'm so grateful for my biscuit tea this morning. It's warming me up. Sip, sip. I should have put a jumper on, but I really wanted to wear my Truth and Courage t-shirt today from Flowers and Fantasy because I feel like it's Thursday, it's, you know, 4th day out of 5 of work, and I feel like I need Truth and Courage. So yeah, Truth and Courage, guys, Truth and Courage. We need it. That biscuit tea is delicious. But anyway, in today's video, I wanted to, this is something that I'm really going to be talking about a lot more sort of towards the end of the year when I'm talking about my 2026 sort of reading goals and things like that, because I am already thinking about what I'm going to be reading in 2026 and like planning everything out and thinking about it. And one thing that I really want to do more in 2026 is really tackle my physical TBR, because I don't think it's a bad thing to have books on your physical TBR, but I think I definitely am one of those people who has probably a few too many books on their physical TBR. And then as I'm constantly being introduced to more and more books and receiving so many incredible recommendations, I'm then buying more and not getting to the ones that are already there. So a big thing for me next year is going to be to tackle the physical TBR and to kind of just do less buddy reads and things like that to try and like focus on my physical TBR. Unless of course the book is on my physical TBR and somebody wants to read it with me. But I wanted to go through a few of the books that I've got on my physical TBR and just talk you through them. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to split this video into a couple of parts because I have a really big physical TBR. It's quite astonishing actually. I just wanted to go through a few of the books that I've got on my physical TBR and the ones that have been on there the longest. The ones that have been on there the longest and that I really want to get to and need to get to and really need to prioritize. So I'm just going to talk you through those. So as I say, this will be split into 2 parts, but this is part 1. Might even be split into 3 parts, but this is part 1 anyway. First book is actually, strangely, a book that now I'm thinking I'm probably going to get to this a lot sooner now because I've started another series, a manga series. So this is a manga series, so I've got Spy Family, Volume 1. I remember being told about Spy Family ages ago. I saw it recommended on another booktuber's channel. Oh my goodness, what is her name? I will try and remember her name and put it below, but she's great. She really focuses on a lot of horror, actually. That's her booktube is really around horror, but she also read Spy Family and I think she devoured it in a few weeks. And so her recommendation is why I bought it, because she recommended it in one of her videos and I never got round to it. I bought it ages ago and never got round to it. But now that I've sort of started, I mean, I started at a much deeper end in starting with Berserk. But now that I've started my sort of manga journey, I think this maybe is something that I can get to a lot sooner now, because I'm thinking, oh, well, I understand the format a lot more and I'm sort of getting into it a bit more. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. So I'm going to be terrible at the pronunciation of the name, but Spy Family says the story and art is by Tatsuya Endo. I hope I've pronounced that right. So I've got Volume 1 here, and it says, Master Spy Twilight is unparalleled when it comes to going undercover on dangerous missions for the betterment of the world. But when he receives the ultimate assignment to get married and have a kid, he may finally be in over his head. Not one to depend on others, Twilight has his work cut out for him, procuring both a wife and a child for his mission to infiltrate an elite private school. What he doesn't know is that the wife he's chosen is an assassin and the child he's adopted is a telepath. It just sounds great fun, great fun. So yeah, I can't really wait to get into this. And now that I've sort of started my sort of manga journey with Berserk, I'm thinking I'm going to start devouring this too. And I've also seen lots of recommendations for, I think Preacher Reads recommended. Oh gosh, I'm going to have to put in there. My brain is like a sieve today. Why is my memory not working? Preacher Reads recommended recently a new manga series, which I'll put the name on the screen. And also I've heard a lot of people are reading One Piece, and I've also had a lot of recommendations for the Vinland Saga. So yeah, lots of recommendations. So I need to get to this and I think I'll get to it soon. Another book that has been on my TBR for a really long time is book 1 of the Gentleman Bastard series, which is The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. This has been recommended to me many times and predominantly from my friend Alex, Nightshade Journal on Instagram. She's a big fan of this trilogy. So this is a trilogy, and I believe it's kind of swashbuckling Robin Hood. That's what I've been told, but I could be wrong. But I've heard that people absolutely adore this series and that it's great. I have to admit, some of the feedback I've seen on it is quite divisive, but generally I would say this is really, really, really popular for a reason. So I want to find out what that reason is. So it says, the Thorn of Camor is said to be an unbeatable swordsman, a master thief, a friend to the poor, a ghost that walks through walls. Slightly built and barely competent with a sword, Loch Lamor is, much to his annoyance, the fabled Thorn. And while Loch does indeed steal from the rich, who else would be worthy stealing from, the poor never see a penny. All of Loch's gains are strictly for himself and his tight-knit band of thieves, the gentleman bastards. The capricious, colourful and underworld of the ancient city of Camor is the only home they've ever known, but now a clandestine war is threatening to tear it apart. Caught up in a murderous game, Loch and his friends are suddenly struggling just to stay alive. It just sounds great. So yeah, swashbuckling. It sounds like swashbuckling Robin Hood. I'm up for that. That sounds like great fun. Anything swashbuckling after live ships, honestly. Anything remotely shippy, piratey, boaty, watery. I'm here for it. And I love a traditional Robin Hood. And apparently there's a really great dynamic between Loch and another character in this. So really looking forward to getting this. Hopefully next year. I'm a bit busy for the end of 2025, but maybe 2026 will be the one. As I say, I'll talk all about that more in another video at some point. Now, I randomly picked one. This is not the first book in A Song of Ice and Fire. I just picked up Storm of Swords, part 2 apparently, because it was on my pile and I was just like, I just need to grab a Game of Thrones book. So A Song of Ice and Fire book. So I grabbed Storm of Swords part 2, Blood and Gold by George R.R. Martin. I am going to be restarting my A Song of Ice and Fire journey next year. A Song of Ice and Fire has been on my TBR for the longest time. I've spoken about this before on my channel. I started Game of Thrones, so book 1, and read Game of Thrones years ago before I went to uni. Then got to uni and got a bit overwhelmed with just being at uni all the time, and so ended up reading a lot lighter reads, and then I just ended up watching the series instead, but I loved book 1 and I love this story, and this is one of the fundamentals I would say in terms of like epic fantasy. You know, this is, other than, you know, a few other ones, this is where a huge amount of inspiration and love for fantasy comes from. This series is just absolutely astonishingly good, but I'm really excited to read the books. I'm not going to give a description of this, a summary, because if you don't know a description of A Song of Ice and Fire, I don't know where you've been, but I'm really looking forward to getting to this, and I'm hoping to do a read-along / buddy read of this with Abby, Books and Three Cats, starting in January. So we're going to be doing Game of Thrones and probably doing it on Discord. So if you want to get involved, please come and join us in January next year. Okay, another book, that's this one. You guys will, if you've been following my videos since I started, you probably know that this one is on the list, and I still haven't got to it. Yeah, I still haven't got to The Painted Man by Peter V. Brett. This is book 1 in the Demon Cycle. I don't know why. I just don't. I think it's just because I've been doing so many buddy reads, which has been the best thing ever. And I think in the moment, you've just got to go with the flow. But it has meant that this has been placed onto the back seat a little bit. So this is book 1 in the Demon Cycle. So for hundreds of years, these creatures have terrorized the night, slowly culling the human population. It was not always this way. Men and women did not always cower behind protective magical wards and hope to see the dawn. Once they battled the demons on equal terms, but those days and skills are gone. Arden Bales lives with his parents on their isolated farmstead until a demon attack shatters their world. He learns a savage lesson that day, that people, as well as magic, can let you down. Rejecting the fear that kills as efficiently as the creatures, Arden risks another path in order to offer humanity, at last, a fleeting chance of survival. It sounds amazing, all about placing up wards against demons. I think Arden figures a way around it in terms of, you know, a way to, when the wards are down, that he can sort of tackle them. It just sounds incredible. I've heard great things about it. And I feel like it's actually quite an underrated series and one that might be not spoken about so much. I'm not sure. I'm going to find out. I can't wait to find out. So hopefully next year when I'm tackling my physical TBR. My thought process is, I'm thinking Chris and Mads are currently tackling their physical TBRs by having like a spinny wheel and every week they're tackling a new book from their physical TBR. I think that's how I'm going to approach it next year. So just have a physical TBR book and a buddy read book, and then that be it. It sounds like a lot less chaotic for me than normal. So we'll see if I stick to that. I'm not sure. This next book, now this really has been on my TBR for a long time. And that is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. I have heard so many amazing things about this book. Hello, Ernie. Oh, stretch. That was a good stretch. Are you going to come and say hello and stop whining? He's so sad with me. Are you really upset? I'm so sorry. You will get your breakfast, I promise, like in like 10 minutes. I promise. I promise. Right, so The Book Thief. I've not seen the film, I've not read the book, but I know and have heard from many people that it's an absolute masterpiece. So, and I think the narrator is Death. 1939, Nazi Germany, the country is holding its breath, death has never been busier. Liesel, a 9-year-old girl, is living with a foster family on Himmel Street. Her parents have been taken away to a concentration camp. Liesel steals books. This is her story and the story of the inhabitants of her street when the bombs begin to fall. And it says, this story is narrated by Death. It's a small story about a girl, an accordionist, some fanatical Germans, a Jewish fistfighter, and quite a lot of thievery. I just think it just sounds incredible. It sounds incredible. I love historical fiction. I do love historical fiction based around World War II as well. I think there's, I think it can be quite difficult to write stories around something like World War II because obviously I think there can be a lot of controversy in tackling something like that and doing it well and respectful. Oh, that was a big yawn. Someone's tired. But I think from what I've heard, this is absolutely incredible and it sounds amazing. And I love that cover. It's beautiful. But yeah, I'm ready to have my heart torn out. Again, it's my favourite thing. Or this one has been, okay, no, I think maybe this might have been the one that's been on my TBR the longest out of all of these. Okay, completely different to normal. Oh, he's laying his head on me. That's really sweet. Okay, Donna Tartt, The Secret History, the ultimate dark academia book. This book starts to thrive around this time of year. Pinterest, Instagram, anything dark academia, this book is it. This is the one you see. And I have not read it. I have not picked it up. Now, you're going to hate me. And I can't really use this as an excuse as to why I haven't picked it up, because my excuse as to why I haven't picked this up for so long is because of how long the chapters are. But since I've read Live Ships by Robin Hobb, I feel like I can't use that as an excuse anymore because her chapters are absolutely enormous. But honestly, the chapters in this are massive. I'm not sure how I feel about it because I feel like this book is really, really, really divisive. I feel like half of the people I know that have read it think it's an absolute masterpiece, and the other half sort of said, oh my gosh, it was really dull. So I'm not sure. Under the influence of their charismatic classics professor, a group of clever, eccentric misfits at an elite New England college discover a way of thinking and living that is a world away from the humdrum existence of their contemporaries. But when they go beyond the boundaries of normal morality, their lives are changed profoundly and forever. I don't know anything about this. I think there's a murder. A little bit of a mystery, but I think this is generally set around the students and how their kind of minds sort of unravel as this mystery is going on and how they start to sort of lose it. That's my interpretation of what I've heard anyway. But I really want to read it at some point, but I'm just not sure when. This time of year would be perfect, but there's just so many fantasy books that I want to read that I'm just sort of, I never pick it up. Maybe if I do the spinny wheel next year, it'll give me this and I'll have no choice. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, another book that has been on my physical TBR for an incredibly long time. Again, a very controversial one. The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. Now, I've only read one R.F. Kuang book, and that was Yellowface, and I had mixed opinions on it. I do want to read Babel. I do want to read that at some point because I've heard that if you like Blood Over Brighthaven, then Babel would be a good one to read. I loved Blood Over Brighthaven. R.F. Kuang's other books are kind of quite, I would say, divisive. I would say she's quite a divisive author. And I feel like this book, this series in particular, is very divisive. I think it's generally YA, but also incredibly dark. I'm not sure. I hear a lot of divisive opinions around this. When Rin aced the Keju, the test to find the most talented students in the Nikara Empire, it was a shock to everyone. That she got into Signgard, the most elite military school in Nikan, was even more surprising, but surprises aren't always good. Because being a dark-skinned peasant girl from the south is not an easy thing at the Sign Guard, fighting the prejudice of rival classmates, Rin discovers that she possesses a lethal, unearthly power, an aptitude for the nearly mythical art of shamanism. Exploring her gift with the help of a seemingly insane teacher, Rin learns that the gods long thought dead are very much alive, and that mastering these powers could mean more than just surviving school. I'm not sure about this one. This is one that I just, as I say, I hear very, very mixed opinions about, and maybe if I give it a go, I think the other thing that puts me off is it's the start of a trilogy, and so if I'm not hooked by this one, then that means sort of whole trilogy's out the window, which is fine. But again, if I do the spinny wheel next year and I decide it picks this for me, then I give it a go, and it may be incredible. But it's one that like I said, I've heard so many divisive thoughts about, so it does really intrigue me because I want to see where those thoughts are coming from. Okay, the final book that I'm going to talk about today is book 1 in the Locked Tomb trilogy. Is it a trilogy? Locked Tomb series by Tamsin Muir, which is Gideon the Ninth. Now, all I know is that this is lesbian necromancers in space, and that when you read this series, you spend the majority of your time severely confused. I mean, it sounds right up my alley. Again, this is just one that I just haven't got to. Oh, it is a trilogy. Okay, so it says, the most fun you'll ever have with a skeleton. Yay, that sounds quite Halloween-y. The Emperor needs necromancers. The 9th necromancer needs a swordswoman. Gideon has a sword, some dirty magazines, and no more time for undead nonsense. Tamsin Muir's Gideon the Ninth unveils a solar system of swordplay, cut-through politics, and lesbian necromancers. Her characters leap off the page as skillfully animated as necromantic skeletons. The result is a heart-pounding, epic science fantasy. Science fantasy. I mean, it sounds great. It sounds really fun, and I've heard so many people say incredible things about this. I think Abby Books and Three Cats loved this series, and also Justine from Storeborn Archive on Instagram loved this series. I think Harrow the Ninth is book 2, and that was her favourite. So many people adore this series. So again, you never know. Maybe the spinny wheel will give it to me next year and I'll get to it. Or maybe I can do a buddy read of it with somebody. I'm not sure, but that's another book that has been on my TBR for the longest. So those are the first books that I was going to talk you through today that have been on my TBR for the longest. Please let me know if there are any from there that you would really highly recommend, or if you have any thoughts about any of them, please do let me know, because I genuinely am really interested. And I mean, they're on my physical TBR for a reason. I've heard great things about them generally, and so I really want to give them a try. I will make another video because I do have other books that have been on my physical TBR for a while that I want to talk you through, but I'll just sort of leave it there for today. But thank you so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments below what sort of books are have been on your physical TBR for the longest, if you have one, or books that you've been maybe putting off. Please do let me know. I'm so intrigued to know. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please do give it a like. And if you would like to stick around and become a firm member of the Library of a Silver Saint with me and a very sleepy dog behind me, oh, he's still here, then please do hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you here. As much as he's whining, we would love to have you here. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.